So are a way of grouping methods and variables together into a single entity. So we support the OOPS concepts encapsulation through classes. And another one is they are used for defining a new data type. That is, they act as an abstract, they provide support for abstraction, allow users to create their own data type. I hope this you're clear with the classes. The general syntax of a class, that is a Java class. Class is a keyword here, and I have class name, which is an identifier. So every class has variables. Type, instance variable, type can be any user defined type or a basic data type, and we have methods. Here one difference between C++ class and a Java class is Java classes are not terminated by a semicolon. So there is no semicolon in a Java class. So a class can contain only variables and methods, nothing else. So variables is like this, method is the return type, method name, which can be any identifier, and a parameter list. Is it okay? Please let me know if I'm very fast or my voice is breaking. I can go a little bit slow. Yeah, fine. So next, let's go with a simple example of a class. Here I have a class by name box. So here class is the keyword and box is the name of the class which I have given. So this class consists of three members. One is width, height, and depth. So this class is not ended with a semicolon here. Now understand a Java class may not mandatorily have all these data members and method types. It can have only data members, or it can have methods, or it can have both. And it is not mandatory in Java class to have a main function. For example, this is a valid class. It does not have any method. It does not have any main here. So right now, till now, you would have studied, you have a main within a class, right? No, it is not mandatory. Here I have a sample class, and this class has one by name width variable and the other by name height and another one by depth. So this class box defines a new data type by name box, and this acts as a template for a class. Now, when I create a class like this, it is like a passive entity, or it does not have any existence. What do I mean by a passive entity or does not have existence? Let's take, for example, a built-in data type like int. Only int does not have its own existence. Only if I create a variable by name int, or let's take for example here double width. Only double does not have any existence. Whenever I create a variable width which is of type double, then it comes into existence. Similarly, a class created like this by type box does not have any existence of its own. So when does it come into existence? When I create an object of the class. What is an object? Object is like a variable of a particular type. Like here, width is a variable which is of type double. Similarly, I can create an variable which is of type this class box. Let's take for example here, leave this one new box. So let's remove this and take only till this much pattern. So I will not take this. So let's take box my box. What does it mean? That is, this is a variable here, my box, which is of type box. So see this one and this one, you will get an analogy of that. So here I'm saying width is a variable which is of type double. So here I'm saying my box is a variable which is of type box. But here, whenever you are declaring a variable of a user-defined type, I call it an object. So object is nothing but a variable of a user-defined type. But creating an object, I use a keyword by name new. What is new? I hope you have all studied about new. Yeah, can someone who is on yeah, at least someone type. Yeah, Altaf says it is dynamic. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, dynamic memory allocation. Anyone else? Allocation of memory at runtime. So whenever you are creating objects, it takes place dynamically at runtime. So you require to use this keyword new. So this is another difference between C++ and Java. While you are creating an object, you require the keyword new. Yes, allocating memory to an object. Fine. How do I access the members of the object? For example, let's say box was an object, and what are the members of the box? Height, width, and so in order to access it, I use the dot operator. So dot operator is used to access the members of a class. So my box was an object of the class, and to access the member width, I'm using the dot object. So I'm assigning a width of my box to 100. See, if you are assigning a width or a variable int I to initializing it to some 10 or 0, you say int I is equal to 0, right? Here I have created my box object. In order to assign the value with respect to its member, I use the dot operator. It is similar to your C++. In C++, you used arrow operator and dot operator. But in Java, you use only dot operator to access the members of the class. Fine with this? So data members, if you're calling the member methods, then you use the dot. Program now. I would like you all to have a pen or a pencil or a book or a sheet of something like that and try to write down this program. I later ask you questions. Now I'm having another class by name class box demo. This class is having the public static void main. Now you can compare. If you have already written that class, you can compare. That class has only data members. Now, ma'am, what does this class have? This class is having only one method, that is void main. Now, what is this? It is a method here. Is it possible to have a class with no data members and only this function main? Yes, possible. You might ask, ma'am, why are you having another class here? Reason why is most of the times whenever we are designing the program, we will try to add the data and the methods that operate on the data into one class, and in another class we will try to access it. So in this class demo, I have the public static void main. I create a mybox object here and try to calculate the volume with respect to mybox. So I'm setting the width value to 10, height value to 20, and depth value to 15, and then calculate the volume using mybox.width into mybox.depth and into mybox.height. So this is how I'm accessing the members and calculating the value volume. So, and another one is myBox2 using new operator. So both are like two objects which are created of type box. Step here, in one statement I'm creating an object of type myBox. Instead I can do it using two steps. One, here I declare an object myBox which is of type box. When I declare a variable, memory is not actually allocated. So if you are trying to simply declare one variable which is of type class, memory is not allocated and actually this will be pointing to null. When does the actual memory allocation takes place? When I use the new operator, only then the memory gets allocated. So this example I can show you here. So when you have the statement myBox, box myBox, I have created an object and it is pointing to null. But when I use a new operator, what happens is memory is allocated. How much memory is allocated? Memory is allocated based on the class what you have created. Here, for instance, box is having three variables, each of type double, right? Width, height, and depth are all of type double. So it is 4 bytes or 8 bytes, 8 into 3, 8 threes are 24. So 24 bytes of memory will be allocated to myBox. So whenever you are doing an assignment operator, please understand that memory is not allocated when you are assigning one object to another. It is actually pointing to the same object. For instance, let's take this one. B1 is one object which is being created, right? Yes, memory is allocated to it. When I say box B2 is equal to B1, it means that B2 is pointing to B1 and it is not a separate object because you have not allocated the memory using new operator. So something like this. So B2 is also pointing to B1 and they are referring to one and the same object. Same example class box and trying to add methods to that. So here in the class box, I have the method by name volume. So this volume, instead of calculating in the main, I'm adding this method so that it calculates the volume, which is the nothing but width into height into depth. One thing what I want to make clear is this is a class box. So if they ask what are the members of the class box, then it has four members. First member width, second member height, third member depth, and fourth member is volume. So members means it is instance variables plus member methods. So there are four members of this class: width, height, depth, and volume. So how do I define a method within the class? It follows the same rules as general method definition: return type, name of the method, parameter list. Yes, within classes you can have overloaded methods. That is, I can have another method with the same name volume provided the parameter list is different. So classes support method overloading. I hope you all are familiar with method overloading. So assume this is another class by name box demo. Now what are the members of this class? Yes, it has only one member, that is a member method by name main. Classes and object now.